I'm heading out the door. I'm about to grab something to eat, but I wanted to make this video real quick because I think it's important, and I'm not going to wait through this entire Thanksgiving break to give you guys this information. So first of all, I know it's Thanksgiving Eve, but happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope you enjoy tomorrow. I hope you eat big meals and you enjoy family time and friend time and everything. If your conservative uncle tries to start a conversation with you, do your best to jiu-jitsu your way out of it. That's my best advice. I always try my best. People think like, oh, Kyle probably loves talking politics with the family during holiday events, but that's actually not true. I do my best to do the opposite, to not talk about politics at all, but unfortunately people, always ask me stuff and I'm kind of dragged into conversations, but I digress from that. This short video, and I'm sorry if it's shaky, I'm just holding the camera here on my own, sideways, because that's what you guys demand. This video, I just wanted to explain real quick why politics absolutely, positively blows. So the Nancy Pelosi situation happening right now is really the best example of this I've ever seen. Nobody to Nancy Pelosi's left stepped up to say, hey, I want to become Speaker of the House, and I'm the left-wing option. Now, I think I'm relatively open-minded, and I think I'm relatively fair. So my standard was basically, hey, if I'm in Congress, I'll take anybody to the left of Pelosi. I understand that this populist left wave of uncorrupted people who actually care about the issues and are like Bernie Sanders. I understand that we're just in the beginning of this movement. So unfortunately, there's not as many of our kinds of politician there that I'd like. So, since that's the case, I say, okay, I'll take anybody to the left of Pelosi. Now, nobody stepped up, so now there's a giant pickle. For all the people who are actually on the left and who are good Congress people, they have a conundrum which sucks. And there's no winning here, so let me explain it. Either you vote for Pelosi, who's to become the next speaker, and she is just objectively going to be the furthest left option. I know it's crazy to hear those words because you can't put Pelosi and left in the same sentence. But it's either going to be her or it's going to be literal third way, no labels, ultra corporatists who are openly blue dog Democrats. So basically you're being presented with an option of, okay, either Pelosi or somebody who is objectively significantly worse than Pelosi, somebody who's more in line with like Joe Manchin in terms of their philosophy. So that's horrendous. And listen, my thing would be, well, how about I don't vote for any of them. I tap out and I say, fuck this. I think, honestly, that's what I would do. I wouldn't vote for either one. But here's the downside of that, because that seems like it's a relatively easy way to remain principled and like take the high ground here. But no, that position has downsides, and the downsides are Pelosi right now is making concessions left and right to the left. I said left and right to the left. I mean, I'm sure she's made concessions to the right as well to try to garner some of their support. But the word is that behind the scenes, Pramila Jayapal met with Nancy Pelosi and some other actual progressives met with Nancy Pelosi. And basically what happened was Nancy Pelosi said, in return for your support for me to be speaker, I will allow progressives to be on important committees that oversee Wall Street and hedge funds and the CIA and oil companies. And that never happens. Usually you have progressives on utter nonsense committees that do not craft legislation that's vitally important. But this would be progressives on those committees that craft legislation that's vitally important. And it actually would shift the conversation left, shift the policy proposals left, and drastically improve the country. So Nancy Pelosi is making these concessions to the left in return for their vote, But if somebody like me were there and I said, well, I'll just tap out and not vote for anybody here, I don't put Machiavellian politics above Nancy Pelosi. In fact, I think she loves Machiavellian politics. So, in other words, if every actual progressive took my approach and my position and said, I just won't vote for anybody for speaker, what'll happen is she'll see that, she'll recognize that the left decided we're not going to back her, and then perhaps she takes retribution against the left, and she doesn't allow proportional representation of the Progressive Caucus and of the Justice Democrats on the various committees. So the reason why I'm making this video is to explain to everybody that there's nothing that can be done now that's a good choice and that's a good outcome. If you vote for Nancy Pelosi's opponent, you're literally voting for somebody, you're supporting somebody that's to the right of her. Again, that's not an opinion, that's not conjecture, that's a fact. It's Seth Moulton and a bunch of third-way, ultra-corporatist, blue dog, no labels kind of Democrats. So if you vote for Nancy Pelosi's opponent, you're voting for somebody who's significantly to the right of her. If you support Nancy Pelosi, I don't need to explain the downsides of that to you guys. Nancy Pelosi has a frickin' 29% approval, 28% approval rating, and only 39% of even Democrats want to see her be the speaker again. So you vote for Nancy Pelosi, you're kind of killing this left-wing wave, this momentum that the left is feeling, and everybody's going to go, oh, here we go again with the normal politics as usual bullshit, so why the hell would you support Nancy Pelosi? And of course, her voting record's not good. She's, gone along with Trump on Syria, and she made comments that she's okay with the bombings, and she's not in favor of Medicare for all, even though the party's overwhelmingly in favor of Medicare for all. I don't need to explain the downsides of supporting Pelosi to you guys. You know them very well. But if you take the thing that I'm leaning towards, which is I'll just check out and I'll do nothing, and whatever happens, happens, well, if everybody took that advice who's actually on the left, did that, then Nancy Pelosi does not make those concessions to the left. So in a way, you're kind of kneecapping progressive legislation, and you're kneecapping real wins for the left because you're saying I'm going to stand on principle and not support Pelosi because she's not left enough and she's not good enough and she's a symbol of corruption and everything that's wrong with Washington. So in other words, it's a lose-lose-lose. You can't support Pelosi's opponent because Pelosi's opponent is to the right, blue dog Democrat. You can't support Nancy Pelosi because, for obvious reasons, she's Nancy Pelosi, and you guys know the reasons we don't like her. And you can't not support anybody because if you do that, then you actually have the unintended consequence of stabbing progressives in the back in the sense that maybe they don't get the committee representation that's utterly needed. So, in other words, there's no good thing. There's no good choice. There's no good option. And everything sucks, and politics blows, and, this is reason number 9,762 why people don't vote. And how the fuck can you blame them when this is the kind of stuff that's happening? So it's really upsetting, but I had to make this video so that I can explain to everybody what's going on, because what's happening is there are, like Pramila Jayapal now is saying, okay, I'm going to back Pelosi. And there are people who are solid lefties who have come out and said, I'm going to back Pelosi. And I think that utterly baffled a lot of people, and they're like, wait, hold on, what the hell are you doing? Are you selling out? Is that what you're doing? And the answer is no, they're not selling out. They're realizing that there were giant concessions made by Pelosi, so they're doing what they think is the most practical thing. And really, I think in private, if you talk to these people in confidence, they'll tell you, listen, it was a lose-lose-lose situation, and they did what they felt like was the best thing to do to further left-wing goals, even though at face value, it's a gross thing to see somebody on the left do because it looks like a total abandonment of principles. So, I don't know, man. It sucks. Politics blows, and I totally get why everybody hates it, and I totally get why they're turned off by it. I'm massively turned off by it. And you want to imagine a better world, and you want to be able to fight for a better world, and you don't want to make these shitty fucking backroom deals that are, I don't know, just everything icky that you can possibly imagine about Washington, D.C. So anyway, that's the bad news for everybody. But enjoy your Thanksgiving, and of course, I'll talk to you soon.